Hello, welcome to the next edition of Vega Goose Says. Today we're talking about what the M rating for games truly means, and its impact on the industry as a whole. Talking about whether graphics are really that important when it comes to making a good game, a new channel suggestion, and more today. We've all seen many times over the years, whether it be a news company, a government, or some similar organization, make a much larger deal about an M-rated title than it really needed to be, particularly when they use the phrase, "what about the children?" Well, the bottom line is, with an M-rated game, children don't need to be involved with it, period, hence why it's been given the M rating. Now, the first incident I remember was way back when I was a boy, and that would be because of the fatalities. Parents groups from across the world were up in arms about this particular video game. See, they apparently had never given their children the talk about knowing the difference between fantasy and reality. Not a huge thing, but it's what actually started the ESRB as we know it today. Very similar to when comic books first came out, the comic book code. Well, this was the video game code. The only problem is people don't adhere to it. A parent sees an M and doesn't realize that means it's not for your brat. And so you get parents groups complaining about all manner of games. More than that, you get the news organizations. Fox News in particular seems to jump on any chance they can to bash video games. Regardless of what the opinion was, the bottom line was they were smashed down as being idiots, and the majority of people understood that. But that's not the problem. The problem isn't the majority. The problem is the small, very vocal minority who don't seem to understand the fact that an M means not for kids. Now, one of the major negative sides of this, because this all goes back to the violence in video game argument that's been going on as long as video games have been in existence. But where it really gets graphically misused is in regards to shootings, whether it's the Virginia Tech shooting, whether it's the shooting in Berlin, whether it's the shooting at Columbine, or what have you. Every time that there's a shooting anywhere, odds are the first thing to be blamed will be a video game or a video game company. Even the most recent shooting, the first thing that happened was people began blaming Call of Duty, Mass Effect, Gears of War. Any game that had someone holding a gun was obviously responsible. This has become a larger issue globally of people just not being able to own up to their own fucking responsibility. And I'm tired of seeing good people, honest people, being blamed because of piss poor decision making. The bottom line is you're a get-over looking for something to scapegoat your crime. But I spent enough time on this soapbox. I think you've all gotten my point. Let's move on. Now, graphics in gaming has gone from being the icing on the cake to the cake itself for many people. This is particularly true of PC players, but it's not simply all them. Console players have the same mentality. In fact, you'll find a lot of the hatred behind Nintendo is regards to their graphical capabilities, or lack thereof. However, the simple truth is, graphics do not make or break a game. Despite the fact that 1/5 of our reviews here at Hold the Line are based on graphics, that's about how I used to look at it, 1/5. You don't have to have the best graphics in the world to get a decent score, or to be a decent game, more importantly. It's about 1/5 of what you should be focused on. Take a look at classic games like Pac-Man or Donkey Kong. Graphically, they look like dog shit, but they're still probably some of the best games you could ever sit down and play if you're just looking for a fun, mindless bit of 5 minutes. Now, the opinion that graphics don't matter often comes with hatred and scorn from several gaming sites or gaming communities. There's a reason for that. On the PC side, I think many gamers see their graphical quality, what they can handle, if they can put it on ultra or higher. It shows that their machine is stronger, and it's more a point of pride to them. So if someone telling them graphics doesn't matter makes them feel like they built their machine pretty much for nothing. And see, that's my point. A lot of people are so focused on graphics, they lose the bigger picture. The most important thing when it comes to making a game isn't what the graphics can do. It's what the story can do, what the gameplay can do. How fun is it? How much sense does it make? Take, for example, a game I reviewed on my own channel that I'll be bringing over here eventually. That would be Sly 4 Thieves in Time. Was it fun? To a point. Did the story work? Yeah, alright. But graphically it was a little bit behind. Does that make it a bad game? Well, obviously not. And that's the whole point here. Having bad graphics doesn't make a bad game. Now having glitchy subpar graphics, that's a whole different story. Now some of us may be old enough to remember the games that came out in my youth. Games like the original Castlevania, Mega Man, Mario. By today's standards, all of these games would be listed as horrible graphics. However, the story, the gameplay is just classic fun. And that's really what games are for. They're there to have fun. I'm not saying that good graphics don't up a little bit of level, particularly of immersion, into a world. However, I like to think older games have shown us that you can be just as immersed with lower graphical capability. Finally, a channel suggestion. This week we're looking at the YouTuber Shally. She is part of a very large group of YouTubers. She does Let's Plays, much like our last couple. My particular favorite of hers is her Borderlands 2 Let's Play. I think you'd really enjoy it. And I'll put her link in the description. Until next time, my name is Vega Goose, saying, that's what I said, and I'll see you next time.